Can you double check that Eileen is? Can you check that we're live?
Okay.
Brilliant. Okay, fantastic.
Facebook.
What?
What are we live on?
What are we live on? We are live on YouTube, apparently.
Hello, YouTube.
Allegedly. Hello, YouTube.
On the YouTube.
Yeah, on the YouTube, on the finals in Google HQ. Happy days.
Exciting day.
So for my first question for you, and I don't mind if you want to pile in, you know.
Oh.
Let's make this, try to make this.
Sweet.
Oh man,
You know.
Sit on there.
There we go.
Can I come in?
Can you
Can you
fit?
see? Oh yeah, you're in. You're in.
Kind of. Here we go.
Don't look
Hold
at don't look at that camera there, because that's got a
get up
lag
there.
on
Get
it.
there.
Oh
Get
my
the
God! There we go.
There we are.
So
Boom.
we
We're
just want to make sure that we don't just have our heads. So guys, straight up, tell us about your business.
So at Calt Dynamics, we create decentralizing technologies. Some common ones are solar panels or decentralizing energy, but we're really focused on 3D printers because we believe it can totally decentralize manufacturing. So we've developed a number of 3D printing technologies, and this year we're bringing out our first product with Stanley Black & Decker, and it's going to let people in emerging markets, low infrastructure regions, they can print without any computers, any technical skills or anything like that. So it's a really exciting product.
Cool. And how did the idea come about? Look at your heads there.
I know. You come back down. You needed it there. I was looking there. I was like, where the hell is this?
There we go. So what?
The idea it originally came about because we really wanted to get high resolution printing into developing nations. So we were looking at ways to make the process cheaper. And through that, we came up with this process called physical mass curing. And it's a totally new 3D printing process. And it really is going to let us create printers that have never been possible before, just due to this technical innovation. We can do them on the scale of a car. We can do them very small handheld devices. And it's really through technical innovation, iterating is how we got there.
Cool. And where are we at with the business at the moment?
Well, just this year we opened a seed round, and we're set to close out the year with 1.1 million in funding. So it's been a great year. We opened a US subsidiary.
Well, okay.
We got an office in Connecticut. We submitted a whole bunch of patents this year, and just 2 days ago I took keys on a new R&D facility in County Wicklow. So it's been a crazy year. We've been really, really busy.
Wow. And what local enterprise office are you representing today in the final?
Wicklow.
Wicklow. Hashtag Team Wicklow.
Hashtag Team Wicklow. That's right.
When you mentioned the keys to the place in Wicklow, I was hoping it was
It was
Wicklow.
Wicklow.
I was hoping it was going to be.
Yeah.
Simple as that. So how's the Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur process been for you?
It's been incredible, really, for me. Do you know, the part that I've enjoyed the most is getting to know everybody else.
Yeah.
Because although you meet a lot of entrepreneurs in your daily business, they're usually people close or adjacent to your own business. Whereas here, you've got so many different businesses, but everybody's an entrepreneur, and you feel like you're in the same boat. That was really good to see so much going on.
Yeah, I always think there's an Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur alumni, which you're now a member of, and it's pretty vital to tap into it.
Right.
Pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah, it's really good.
Fantastic stuff. What advice would you give to someone out there on YouTube with an entrepreneurial spirit, but maybe not quite sure how to go about starting a business?
I would give you the advice that business is really about people. Even if you're running complicated viral ad campaigns, you're still ultimately trying to reach people. And business is really, it can be about doing something good. So put your own fears aside and do something good. That's what I would say.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Go on.
Don't feel the fear and do it anyway.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
Simple as that. So what's the vision for the business? So we've got some really exciting stuff, some massive funding being closed lately. US, Ireland,
Yep.
we're killing it in two areas. Where's the business heading? Where do we want to get to?
So after we release this first product and we get it into developing nations, then we're really going to focus on large scale industrial batch printing. And in the next few months, we're aiming to actually print an engine for a car and then cast that into metal. So we're really on track to go down that industrial route with 3D printing.
Cool. And how have the local enterprise office assisted you on your journey? Or haven't?
They have, yeah. I've been with the LEO Wicklow ever since the beginning, since I started Calt Dynamics, and they really put me on the right track in the beginning. I think that's the best thing they gave me. They let me realize that, although it's a great thing to do, it's also a big undertaking to create a startup, and they kind of, they give you that perspective in the beginning, which is great.
Cool. And have you availed, what kind of funding have you availed with through government supports?
So far, we have got an innovation voucher to develop some tech
Okay.
a couple of years ago. I did the IBYE for startup
Yeah,
a number
yeah.
of years ago, or for best idea a
Yeah,
number of years ago.
yeah.
But other than that, the LEO has been there kind of as a guidance, really,
Yeah.
primarily, you know.
Yeah. So if you think of starting a business, the local enterprise office is probably your first stop.
Definitely.
As simple as that.
Yeah.
So, couple of hours before the final now, how are the old nerves going?
Oh, sure.
They're jangling away.
Pressure's on, but
I tell you, I've never seen such a hyped up group.
yeah, it's great.
I
It's a
tell
great
you,
bunch. Yeah,
I
no,
tell you,
lots of energy.
the energy is nuts.
It is, yeah.
Like, I seriously think that we should only be decaf coffee.
yeah, possibly.
Because
that's
we
what's going
don't want to hype people up anymore,
Yeah.
or this place is going to explode. You know.
We've got Claire Byrne here today, so I'm sure she'll handle the
I
crowd
don't know.
just fine.
I don't know. I don't know whether she can handle you guys. She's handled everyone else so far.
We're gonna find out.
Best of luck for the
Thank you
final,
very
mate.
much.
Lovely chatting to you.
You too.
Maybe we'll see you later holding a title.
You never know.
There you go.
Happy to get this far. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
well done. Congratulations.
Cheers.
And next up, we already saw part of his body.
Sorry about
That's
that.
okay, all right, my friends.
Yeah.
So how we doing?
Good. I was about to say, if you get rid of the coffee, there'll be a strike
Okay.
from the owner
Okay.
to keep the coffee
Okay.
coming.
Yeah, I certainly haven't had enough. But anyway, you know,
Oh, yeah.
I need a vat of coffee. You know?
Yeah.
So guys, so tell me your name and your business for the guys out there.
Yeah, so I'm Pierce Storgan. My company's Equine MediRecord, and I'm Team Kildare.
Hashtag Team Kildare.
I'm one of 3, I believe, equine companies in the finals. We really punch above our weight in the equine industry. I know there was an article in the Independent this week saying that. And so what we do is we do regulatory compliance for the equine industry. So we do veterinary regulatory compliance. It's very topical. So last week, New York Times, there was an article about a trainer who had problems with medications and fallen afoul in the US. There was the equine flu outbreak this year in the UK, where the industry lost, just from being shut down for a week, around £200 million while paper documents were checked. So what we're doing is digitizing the paper documentation so it can be checked quickly, and automating the compliance. So for a yard, and there's a lot of changing regulation around animal welfare, that they know exactly what they need to record and what they have to do when they're going to compete in various countries, because there's even changes in regulation between the UK and Ireland and France. So, it's just those little intricacies that kind of people fall afoul of, and we try and help them.
Wow, how did the business idea even come about? Because I mean, that's fascinating.
Oh yeah, my family's been involved for 5 generations in horses.
Okay.
So it was a personal problem. I was brought in to look over the medications book on my family's farm, and I went to college, and I would get a phone call going, the vet's just given this horse, can you record it in the book? And I'm going, I'm in college.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to record this? And then it's a mad scramble looking for the book when the vet's around, or it gets lost. It's a yard, so it can get dirty or water damage. So there needed to be a solution. And so no one had done it yet in the world. So we're the first ones in the world doing this.
Wow.
And so we went to the regulators in Ireland. We lobbied to get the interpretation of the regulation changed to allow for a digital system. Took a long time, but we got it. And we're currently up and running in the UK, Ireland, and France. And then speaking with regulators on 4 different continents. So we very much started in the racing industry because it's the one that's most topical. It's the one where it's got to be regulated because there's so much money gambled on it. But we're in breeding operations, polo yards, harness racing yards. We're talking with a client in the Middle East around getting racing camels onto the system as well. So it's been an amazing journey.
Okay, so that's incredible. And there's 2 really interesting things there. Number one, the whole equine industry, that's in the blood.
Oh yeah,
it's in the
very
blood.
much.
It's a goddamn passion.
Yeah.
So often
Yeah.
a successful business
Yeah.
is based on a passion and a genuine interest. And the second thing is most great businesses solve a problem.
Yeah.
And you're solving a problem.
Exactly.
So, boom.
Yeah, and that's what the local enterprise office said. They said, what is the problem? Identify the problem and then think of the solution. You should always identify the problem first before trying to think of the product after, and really get that. They talk about the market fit and trying to get that. So,
Cool.
it's been
So talking about the local enterprise office in Kildare, how have they helped the business?
amazing. So the first people I went to was the local enterprise office in Kildare, and I've got to say Jackie McNabb, has been absolutely amazing. Finalists, O'Donoghue, Claire Dunleavy, honestly, these people not only mentors and helping with funding, but when in any startup there's going to be some rough patches, and you go in for and talk with them, they calm you down, they tell you what you need to do, they get you the supports you need from people who've done it. So our first mentor came from the local enterprise office, had launched a global technology business before. So it's just the perfect person, and they get you in touch with those people.
Yeah, so business mentoring, a massive benefit from the local enterprise office, and particularly when they match you up with people that have synergies with your business.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur, we're at the finals. It's no mean feat to make it to the final. Yeah. Absolutely phenomenal. What are your highlights been?
Oh gosh, I was going up against so many great coffee of course, but so many great entrepreneurs. At Kildare level, I knew a lot of them. It's obviously a tight knit group of Kildare entrepreneurs, and then going to the regionals and just seeing the companies that are out there, and who you're competing against, and then getting to represent a whole county and a whole region, has been absolutely phenomenal. And then just meeting all the various people, as you saw, it's people who have that same energy, that same drive, and even if you're in a different sector or business, they have the same problems around, how to go to fundraising, how to close those big institutional clients. So, it's a really great forum to discuss ideas. And even other companies, myself, there was other equine companies here, we're talking about synergies between our businesses straight away, and they have countries where they've deployed where we haven't, and vice versa. So even there, from a business perspective, it's been amazing. Yeah,
I think the networking and support that young entrepreneurs and old entrepreneurs can give each other in Ireland is very, very special. Yeah. And maybe because we are a small country, the access that we get to each other is maybe easier in some ways.
Yeah. I think that's why there's so many great startups happening in Ireland, is because those degrees of separation, that person you need to meet. Usually, if you go on something like LinkedIn, you'll find someone who knows that person, and you ask them, can you make an introduction to this person, please? I need to discuss this business with them. And that is really why Ireland is perfect for starting a business, is because you're not that far away from the person you need to talk to.
Brilliant. So hashtag Team Kildare.
Go on Kildare. Go on the Little Whites.
Thanks so much, mate. Best of luck.
See you.
All right, see you later. Next on the hot seat, the only person still decent enough to still be wearing his Google badge there, Fair play. Wear it with pride there. It's Damien, isn't it?
Damien,
Damien. Yeah. So Damien, tell the guys out there what the business is.
Yeah, so my name is Damien Clegannon. I'm representing the Sligo Leo, and our business is Sula Health. We set up the business over a year ago to develop an innovative type of wearable device to treat common sleep disorders. So our device is non-invasive and uses a thing called light therapy to reset and maintain a person's body clock to allow them to adjust to everyday lifestyle changes, as well as sleep disorders and things like jet lag, and people would be night owl or morning lark, so our device would help them adjust to suit their lifestyle.
Wow. How do you do that?
So it's based on a principle called light therapy, and in our bodies there's a clock, and the clock is like an egg timer, 24-hour egg timer. But what happens is that egg timer gets turned over at the wrong time, and that causes loads of problems. You get tired, you can't fall asleep when you want to fall asleep, and disrupted sleep. So what our device does, a person will wear it on their head, and it's in the shape of a pair of glasses. So you can mix it in with your prescription lens, and what it does is it tells that egg timer to turn over at the right time. So you'll wear it at a certain time of day to suit your condition, and we're going to kick that egg timer over at the right time. So that means your body clock can then become in sync with your lifestyle. So if you're on a shift work and you want to do a night shift and you want to sleep during the day, you've got to tell your body clock that's when you're going to be awake and that's when you're going to be asleep, and you can do that through our product.
So cool. How did the business come about? Where did the idea come from?
Originally, we got together, myself and my co-founders. We were engineers and product designers.
Okay.
None of us really have a problem with our sleep, but what we do have is we have a desire to build technology solutions to make people's lives better.
Yeah.
And we looked down at many different avenues, and we have always been doing that for as long as we can remember. And we found this opportunity in the sleep disorder space, where it's an unmet need, and people don't want to use medication, and our product gives an option for people to treat their condition without using medication. And that's we found that niche, and then we iterated across different versions, and we tested the market. We talked to people, we talked to potential users, and we seen what they really needed, and we updated our product to suit that. And it was a long, drawn out process. There was no eureka moment.
Okay, no, that's fair enough. And there often isn't. How are you brave enough to go for it? Like, in fairness, you could have just got a job like everyone else, but you've taken on this.
Yeah, whether I call it bravery or not, I call it kind of madness maybe.
Today it's bravery, mate. Look at it. Look where you are.
Like every second day I wake up and I think, what am I doing? And then you get through the day and you have some good news and it's brilliant, and it's this constant highs and lows.
Yeah. And what's the vision for the business over the next, say, 5 years from now? Where do we want to be?
We want to get our product in as many people's hands as possible, and we want to improve people's quality of life. It's fairly simple, and we grow the business by growing the number of people that's using our product, and our key performance indicators are people telling us that their sleep patterns are better, they're getting more quality sleep, and as a result they're going to live longer, they're going to be healthier, and they're going to be more energetic throughout their day.
Wow. And have you gone to market yet?
No, we're hoping late next year.
Brilliant.
So we're sorting out.
I'm in the queue.
List.
No, there you go. My insomnia and all sorts of mad stuff. I'm in the queue. So that's exciting stuff.
Yeah, super.
So how's the local enterprise office in Sligo helped you guys?
Yeah, they've been incredible. Like from very early stages on, the guys down there, Stephen Walsh and John Riley, they've been working with us in terms of grant aid, but then also just questioning what assumptions we're making and looking at our business plan and our business proposition and just bouncing ideas back and forth, and then pointing out things where we've possibly gone down the wrong route, and then highlighting things. Because we're a small team, it's very easy to get stuck in a rut and not see the bigger picture. And you present and you tell them what you're doing, and they give you ideas, and it's just that constant mentoring, and they're always there and they're always supporting us. We've been meeting with them now for at least 2 years, well before the business was formed.
It just amazes me. Like, even when I was setting up a business, I didn't even think of contacting them. The amount of small businesses that don't avail of the support that's there is amazing. Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur, we've made it all the way to the final in Google HQ. What has your highlight been?
It has to be the people, like meeting the people organising the event. They've been amazing, but also the companies, the entrepreneurs, the businesses, hearing the stories, hearing their problems, hearing their successes. That's been my favourite part.
Fantastic. And then as regards, say I'm a young entrepreneur out there thinking about my business, maybe I'm a bit scared about taking the plunge into setting up my own business. What advice would you give to a young entrepreneur with a good idea right now?
You will second guess yourself, and it's at that point when you're second guessing yourself, you find mentors, you find friends, family members, you ask them, and they'll generally tell you if you're doing the right thing or not. And
I think the mentor thing is really important, because I know even when I set up my business, my family and friends told me it was a great idea, when maybe it may not have been, because they liked me. But certainly when you look at the Leo or the local enterprise office and business mentors, they'll call a spade a spade.
Certainly.
So no, that's a great piece of advice. Best of luck a little bit later, my friend. I may see you later this afternoon holding a trophy. I want a pair of those glasses for my sleep. There.
You're on the.
I'm on the wait list.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Super. Thanks.
Cheers, mate. Thanks. #Team Sligo. Go on, Sligo. Next to the list. How you doing, Kieran? How's the form, Kieran? You
Very
well?
Very well.
Good stuff, Kieran. God, how are we feeling? The nerves starting to jangle a little bit.
Not really, just yet, to be honest with you. I think the hard work is done.
Exactly.
They may call us for a 90-second pitch, which is prepared for.
Yeah.
So
which is what you want. That's music to your ears if that happens.
This process has started back in March, and I suppose when you start writing applications out and you start practicing for your first presentations, you're always thinking, well, I hope I get to that Sunday in Google.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it'd be wrong for us to get too nervous now. This is what we wanted to do from the start. So just enjoy the moment, I suppose.
This is the entrepreneurial equivalent of making it to the Oscars and being nominated. It's pretty big.
It's big for this year's mission. Yeah, this year I said I'd like to get to the final. I'd like to be in around the top three. That would where I said I'd like to be, and I'd like to get the business to a certain point. So yeah, this is this year's mission, and yeah, I'm happy with it.
Brilliant. So Kieran, for the guys out there that don't know you, what's the name of the business, and what does your what solution or problem does your business solve?
So it's livecost.com. We do construction technology. What we do is we tell a construction company whether they're making money or not. So we like to say we increase a construction company's profits by showing them their costs in real time, and that's the difference with us.
Wow. Okay.
The real time aspect, yeah.
That's brilliant. That's fascinating. So how did the business idea come about?
It really was a scratch my own itch, really. I had a
Okay.
construction company out in Australia, ran it for about 5 years or so, and myself and my brother sat down one side and said, we don't know at every point whether we're making money or not. That's a danger to the business.
Absolutely.
So what can we do? We couldn't find anything off the shelf. So my brother, who's quite technical, was able to dig in and create something ourselves. We got an offer then from a property firm who looked at that system and bought it from us. And that was quite an interesting education. We were saying, well, that happened really quick. We were able to scale that business up, sell out of it. And then we said, okay, the other construction companies have that same problem, and could we potentially help them? So we started to play with different technologies, and we went from a full shift as construction contractors into technology innovators.
Wow.
And that's where we are today, yeah.
And, like, is there something in your bones that's do you think you have entrepreneurship in your bones? Do you think that you're a born bred entrepreneur?
I do, and it's not an ego thing where I said like I couldn't work for someone. There's a lot of people that I'd work for free.
Sure.
So it's not that, but I do feel that it's in you. It's got to be in you. There's a crazy element to it. Like, why do you want to like work all the extra hours? Why do you want to take less of a salary than other people that you're paying more? Which is the case.
Yeah.
You've got to have something deep in you that fires the belly up every morning to want to do that. So I do believe there's a bit of fake entrepreneurship out there, and people will be found out. I think there's a correction in the market going to come. I think a lot of people will be found out, but I do think it's got to be in you. It's got to get you up in the morning, naturally. I would say.
How do you drive yourself along during dark days when things aren't going perfectly? Which we'll all have many of those days as an entrepreneur. How do you drive forward?
So that's the point. I think you have to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think even when it's in its worst moments, you have to say, I like this. This is a challenge for me. I've got to navigate my way out of this problem. Like. And it's great sitting here on these days. Brilliant. But come and look under the hood. Like, tomorrow there's a whole heap of problems going to turn up. I always call it, you're like a firefighter. You're constantly putting out fires. Tomorrow's going to be all these challenges. It's great to look in at a business and say, geez, that looks great. I think I'll have a crack at that. But there is issues. And I think if you don't enjoy the issues and you don't say, this is a real challenge to the business, how can I get myself out of this? I think you'll end up in a bad state. I think you've got to enjoy it. You've got to be that. That's why I think there's a crazy element to it.
Of course.
You have to enjoy the pain of it too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, the importance of passion is really, really, really important. What's the vision for the business? Where are we heading? Say, fast forward. It's a remote control. We fast forward 5 years from now. Where are we intending to get to?
So we're in construction technology. Construction as a sector is the second least digitized industry globally, and we want to disrupt that. So we're looking at construction tech within companies, but then we're looking at the procurement of construction material, a massive, massive industry. Like, how construction companies order their material hasn't been disrupted since the telephone. We're going to disrupt that in a big way. So we're looking at the UK initially because it's on our doorstep. Brexit won't impact that. They're in a similar position to us in terms of building houses. So we're happy to go in and play there, but it's the States. The States is where it's at for us. And we'll be making moves there hopefully next year.
Oh, brilliant! Okay, that's amazing. And then Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur, we've made it all the way to the final, which is no mean feat. What have your highlights been?
Probably the boot camp weekend for me. Okay. I think as an entrepreneur, you're tunnel visioned into your business, and you don't get a chance to step outside the business much. And when you do, it's with family, and you tend to just leave it behind. We got 2 days with, I think it was 100 odd people that are in the exact same position as you, having the exact same problems, exact same challenges, and you were able to spend 2 days with them people. Just like, we stayed overnight, we had a few beers, and it was brilliant. And I was able to sit there and realise, geez, you know what, everyone else has the same challenges I do. You know, it's all normal, and being able to leverage them, so make a lot of contacts. I can pick up the phone to some certain people when I have certain problems, and likewise they can do it for me. So that was the highlight for me. That 2 days down there with Noel and the Entrepreneurs Academy, brilliant. I'd do it every year, to be honest, if I could. Yeah, brilliant. And then the local enterprise office, how have they supported your journey? Yeah, they were great. So I'm Leo Fingal. I went to them with this idea, and they said the best road for me would be the New Frontiers, because I suppose I went to them, but this wasn't our first dance. Sure. They said, you're looking to accelerate this a bit quicker than probably someone else. Go and do the New Frontiers program, and that'll accelerate you down the Enterprise Ireland road a bit quicker than what you're going to do through feasibility or priming. So that was the road we took. We take that advice on board, and we come back around and represent them now. Brilliant. 18 months on. Okay, so instrumental in it. I mean,
the local enterprise offices, they're real experts. They give you some super advice. A lot of people don't even know about Enterprise Ireland's New Frontiers programme, which is a super initiative.
Absolutely brilliant. Highly recommended.
Great stuff. So fingers, toes, and anything else I can cross for you.
Appreciate it.
Best of luck in the finals. We're only literally an hour or so away from the ceremony. You never know. We could chat later with you holding up the mantle.
You never know.
Representing Team Dublin, but in particular Team Fingal. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Take care. See you.
You're in.
So talking of Team Fingal and talking of the local enterprise office, I have the fantastic Oisin Gagan coming in here now, who has been instrumental in driving the Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur programme forward this year. How you doing?
Good, very well, thank you. Yeah.
So we finally made it to the finals in Google.
Finally
it's
made
fantastic.
it again, yeah. It is.
So it was such an exciting day.
It's a great day. It's a really good day, and we've been working on this project since the start of this year. I think it was launched. We officially started taking applications in early January for IBYE competition, and it's been an incredible journey since then. We had I think 1,644 applications in total throughout the country for this competition. So there's a massive groundswell of young entrepreneurs out there, and as the local enterprise offices, obviously we're always really keen to tap into that and to make sure that people who have a good business idea, whatever age they are, but in this particular case for younger people, that they have an opportunity to explore that, examine it, and determine if it's going to be a viable business proposition, and hopefully if it is, then to kickstart it. So.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing that every single entrepreneur this year has said to me, is how instrumental the local enterprise offices have been in their journey, not only for this competition, but in their journey of their business. So for anyone that's listening out there, can you tell me a little bit more about what the local enterprise office is and how it can help young and old entrepreneurs looking at starting their entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, sure. So I suppose, this particular competition is for 18 to 35-year-olds, Ireland's best young entrepreneur. So it's really tapping into young talent in enterprise. But obviously local enterprise offices, we're there every day of the week helping businesses to get started, whatever age the entrepreneur is, okay? And we do that in a whole variety of different ways. So we have programs available for people who are just looking to set up their own business. We've got start your own business programs. We have mentoring services available and ways to plug an entrepreneur, potential entrepreneur, into the local business community. Okay, so we're very much on the ground throughout the country, helping would-be entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs to get connected and to hopefully be in a better position where they can grow and build their business. But it's not just about the pre-startup guys who are looking to set up. There's a lot of businesses that are out there already that may not be aware of the supports that are available from the local enterprise offices, and they are available, and they're available in every town and village, every county in Ireland. There's 31 local enterprise offices, and we're funded by Enterprise Ireland, and we're situated in the local authorities throughout the country. So the doors are always open there to anybody who has a business idea, or if you have a small business and you're looking to grow it, or if you have a small business and you're facing some difficult challenges or strategic choices, get in touch with the local enterprise office, because there are programs there, and there are well-funded programs and initiatives there that could be very helpful to you. That would be the message I would generally send out to people in business out there.
Yeah, and I'm talking to the guys today. They've done start your own business courses, they've done digital marketing courses, they've done finance courses, they've had business mentors through the local enterprise office, they've availed of priming grants, feasibility study grants, lots of trading online vouchers, lots of support that you guys offer. So it's localenterprise.ie. Find out where your local enterprise office is and make sure you contact them. It's absolute no-brainer. Everyone here today is availed of them. As regards this competition, we're at the final. I don't know whether it's an easy question to answer, but what's your highlight of this journey been? The crop this year, if you want to call them the crop, have been extraordinary. The energy out there is unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is. What is the highlight? There are so many different stages in this competition. It starts at the local level. So each local enterprise office runs its own competition in each of the three different categories: best idea, best startup and best established business. And that in itself draws a lot of applications. It generates a lot of a lot of interest, and we get a lot of people coming into us in the Leos who we wouldn't have perhaps previously engaged with otherwise. So that is a really big positive from my perspective. I think really importantly, it's a very well funded program. Obviously there's a significant prize fund. You're talking up to €2 million in prize funds around the country. Yeah. So it is very substantial. And most of that money has already been drawn down by the finalists at local level and at regional level, which is really good. But more importantly, I think, is the other kind of benefits. So, you've had Kim Brennan and other people in here this morning talking to. They've connected with each other. They're learning from each other. They're on a different level now. So this program enables them to rise up, to equip themselves with new skills, identify flaws perhaps in their business plan or in their personal kind of makeup that they might need to address to keep their business on track and make it very, very successful. And that's really important as well. So connecting people, connecting the individuals together, connecting them with the right business networks, and enabling them to have access to opportunities that they would not have if they had not entered this competition.
Big time. Now, it's fostered an entire culture of entrepreneurship in Ireland. This competition has over the last 5 years, which is absolutely amazing. And how the guys on their journey have grown in stature and in confidence and in just in personality over the course of the competition is amazing. Yeah. Some of the slick pitches on Thursday, unbelievable. You can't believe it's the same people that entered all those months ago.
Yeah, and a lot of that is practice. A lot of that is finding a platform to develop your pitch and do a better pitch the next time. And it's an acquired skill. So even pitching your own business for investment, anybody who's been through this program is in a much better place now going forward. If they're going to pitch for investment again, if they're trying to sell their business to investors or raise funding or sell their product or service. So it does equip them with a whole lot of skills for the entrepreneurs. And we're always conscious as well that businesses fail or succeed largely because of the entrepreneur. It's the entrepreneur that's really important to drive the business, to lead the organization and to build the team, and for them to have their eyes open to all these opportunities is extremely valuable for them.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for stopping by. I know how busy you are today. Enjoy the finals.
Great.
Lovely seeing you, and we'll see you later. Take care. That was the wonderful Oisín. Now I'm looking around here. We've got a Teach Cloud, if my memory serves me correctly here. I'm working off a very fancy brochure here. We have Wendy. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, how
are you doing? Never seen you before in my life. How are you keeping? You well?
Good, thanks.
Good stuff. Should I call you Dr. Wendy just to embarrass you?
Wendy is
fine. She doesn't like to be called Dr. Wendy, but you are a doctor. So we've made it to finals day.
Yay!
We're representing Cork.
Yes.
Yes, go on, Cork. And your company, you're finalist in the best startup business category, and it's Teach Cloud.
Yes.
Tell me what is Teach Cloud?
So Teach Cloud is a cloud-based management platform for childcare services. So it keeps children safe, and it also helps teachers reduce their paperwork and comply with regulations.
That sounds like a bit of a no-brainer. We've watched lots of scary documentaries lately, and we need this. We really need this. How did the idea come about?
So I think early childhood education has always been ingrained in me. So my grandfather went from a makeshift hut to a Supreme Court judge, and he always attributed that to having amazing teachers and a platform from early childhood. So I then went on to study a degree in early years and then a PhD, and through my research in Cork IT, Teach Cloud emerged. Okay, so you started in Cork IT. Now, I always think it's great to have an idea. I have brilliant ideas every day. The next $1 million business, it's in my head. Yeah. But how are you brave enough to do it? How do you go from taking an idea that's a really good idea and actually make it happen? I think it has to be something that you really believe in. Okay. First of all, it has to be something that you can stand behind, because if you can't stand behind it, nobody else will. But in the first instance, I actually went to my local enterprise office. They've been instrumental in helping me refine my idea and then actually bring that to fruition. So, everyone has ideas, but it's all about execution. And in Ireland, especially in Cork, we're very lucky to have amazing advisors in our local enterprise offices, and like they're always open to give advice, to support you financially. So that was how I started.
And I think it's really important as when you're starting up in a business to have someone to bounce ideas off, and maybe to have someone to bounce ideas off that's going to give you an honest answer.
Yes.
Because as I said previously, sometimes family friends will tell you that it's brilliant, even though maybe in the back of their head thinking it's not that good.
Right.
So at least they're very honest. So it's great they've been instrumental. So what made you enter Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur?
Well, it's one of those competitions that everyone talks about, everyone knows about it, but also in that the peer to peer learning support that you get throughout the competition is really inspiring. You talk to entrepreneurs that are targeting treatments for cancer, all the way then to people like myself in the early childhood sector. So just being able to talk with people like that, learn from advisors, and it's also a national competition. It's recognised, and it's just an honour to be participating.
So and so talking about that, we made it all the way to the final in Google, which is just an incredible achievement. You can be so proud of yourself. It's just wonderful. What's your highlight of your journey been so far?
I think the highlight for me was during the boot camp stage.
Okay.
So that was where we had 2 days just refining our ideas, going through the business plan, the pitch, and really what we were bringing to our customers, the value. And for me in that, again, as I said, it was really liaising and talking with other entrepreneurs and seeing that Ireland actually has amazing people, especially amazing young people, doing things that I would never even have dreamt of when I was like 15, 16 years old. And we had like a 19-year-old in the boot camp. So it was just really inspiring, and that just stood out to me.
Yeah, no, and it can be a lonely place as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
So to be surrounded by such bright minds and such passionate entrepreneurs is a wonderful, wonderful thing to get throughout the process. If I was a young entrepreneur, which I'm more of an older entrepreneur now, despite my youthful good looks, with a really good business idea,
Yes.
but not quite sure how to go about it, what advice would you give to me?
The first advice would be to definitely bounce your idea off potential customers. But I've already said this, but go into your local enterprise office.
Yeah.
They should really be your first stop, because they're like those people that you can bounce ideas off, but they actually have the business know-how and experience behind them. So they won't just tell you, oh, that's great. They'll actually give you real advice and also support. So definitely talk to potential customers, but go in to get that support as early as possible.
Brilliant. So we're not long ago to the finals. There's so much going on. There's photo opportunities. There's all sorts of stuff going on. I'm going to wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you very much.
I'll have my fingers, toes, and everything else crossed for you. If I was to guess, I would have guessed that you were a fashion designer, because every time I see you, you're just so glamorous with your outfit. So fair play. Best of luck.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Hashtag Team Cork. Go on, Cork. Thanks, Wendy. Take care. How are you?
Very well, thanks.
Good
How are
stuff. I'm very, very well. I'm sure you were liking everyone's been so complimentary, and rightfully so, of the wonderful services and supports of the
Yes.
local enterprise offices, and how instrumental that they are. Come and take a seat
Thank
there. So it's like, have you ever watched that program with Tommy Tiernan when he doesn't know who the guests
Yes,
are?
yeah.
I feel a bit like that today, except I do have a bit of an idea. But you are with the local enterprise office in Offaly, isn't that right? And it's the wonderful Orla, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. So, the local enterprise offices are obviously absolutely vital in this competition. Number one, so many people wouldn't have even entered the competition if it wasn't from connecting and getting the support from you guys. Can you tell me a little bit about, if I'm a newly established startup business, or maybe I'm even pre-startup, why I should contact the local enterprise office, and what services you could offer a young or an old entrepreneur in business?
Sure. So there's a whole network, 31 local enterprise offices around the country, and we've been specifically set up to provide signposting, advice, information to anyone thinking of or running a business. So by signposting, that might mean just helping direct people towards other types of supports, or advising of them of our supports, but also then sitting down with them and really teasing through the business idea. We have a wealth of experience. As you can imagine, we're dealing with hundreds of people each year, hundreds of different businesses, and we're also then interacting with our colleagues in the other enterprise offices. So, you know, there's a lot of things that perhaps that we know or we've gleaned along the way, and we can pass on that information to people who are thinking of setting up a business. So in some instances, we're helping people refine their business idea and maybe gently challenging them on it. You know, just, you know, have you thought of this? I know it's sometimes been mentioned that people might talk about the idea to friends and family, and you know, generally, of course, they're going to be enthusiastic because they want it to succeed. But perhaps they may not even be aware of some of the potential pitfalls in setting up a business or with a particular business idea. So hopefully we can kindly and gently point out some of those things to people and help get them on the right track.
Yeah.
And obviously plenty of people come in with fantastic business plans already and ideas, and then it's just to see how we can help make it happen.
But the reality is, even if you have a great business idea, and all the guys today are complete stars, they're just unbelievable, but I think each and every one of them has probably refined their business somewhat throughout the journey of Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur. And this is even the established ones. So the fact that you guys are available to help them refine their business idea is magnificent.
Yeah.
And absolutely vital. So very often is the first business plan the final business plan, or the first business plan the business, because you're always going to iterate as you go through your development.
Absolutely.
So the kind of supports that the local enterprise office offers young entrepreneurs, there's lots of training, isn't there? So we have start your own business courses, there's courses regarding finance, there was lots of courses at the moment and support regarding Brexit. Don't mention Brexit. We have digital marketing courses, so amazing amount of courses, that's pittance, tiny amounts of money that you guys kindly support entrepreneurs with. And then we have funding. So you've got priming grant, you've got a feasibility study grant, you have the likes of your trading online vouchers. Just to pick maybe one, so maybe the priming grant. What is the priming grant?
So the priming grant is the startup grant
for
businesses that are in their first 18 months of startup. So for a lot of people that can be providing assistance with taking on salary supports, taking on members of staff, and it could be buying equipment, machinery, software that's required for their business, any of the capital sort of requirements for the business. So people put in an application form to their local enterprise office, and then we work through the executive, the team working in the local enterprise office will sit down with the person who applying and kind of work through the various requests on their business plan and the things they're looking to do, and help them just to, I suppose, again, just double check, are these the right the right asks at this point in time of the business. Sometimes people might look and have great ambition for the business and want to see about taking on, for example, 8 members of staff.
Wow,
and we might say, well, how about you apply for 2 or 3 first, and then as the business grows, come back into us again, apply for further grants, for more salary supports. So we can give sometimes up to 50% of the cost of the piece of equipment. Sometimes there's refundable aid on business expansion grants, so there'd be a loan, a 0% loan, but that's on the business expansion side.
So
priming there isn't.
You guys are real experts, so at the end of the day, like, these are all grants that I certainly wouldn't have known anything about. So it kind of makes sense to contact and see what funding and supports are available for oneself. The other thing I think that's been mentioned a lot today, which is great, is the importance of the business mentoring as well, and matching businesses up with like-minded successful businesses that can literally support and mentor and drive their business forward.
It's a really, really cost-effective way of adding value to a business. With somebody coming into us and, for example, they want to look at a different type of market, or they need assistance with maybe a food technologist to help, pivot and work on a new product. So we can put in that sort of expertise at a very heavily subsidised rate, and then the business gets to get that expertise that they wouldn't normally be expected to have in a small business, and help drive their business on. So it's really, the mentoring is hugely valuable aspect of our supports, and time again I've had people come back to me to say, Orla, the grants were great, but the mentoring and the fact that you were available at the end of the phone, that's the part that was absolutely invaluable.
Yeah, no, the local enterprise office staff are just phenomenal.
Absolutely.
So 31 local enterprise offices. There's one for you out there. It's visiting the website. It's www.localenterprise.ie, I believe.
Yes.
But check it out and pick up that phone or send an email, but contact them, because the supports that they can offer us are phenomenal. Orla, enjoy the finals of Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur. Thank you so much for stopping by and saying hello to me. Shall we see you very, very soon?
Absolutely.
Take care. No worries.
Thank you.
I see Michael. God, I have to rock it on here to the finals. How you doing, my friends?
Good to meet you.
Good to see you.
Likewise.
It's deja vu. It's live stream deja vu here. Michael Savage of Lear Analytical, back and in the final of the Best Established Business, up against the gentleman that's there and kind of at you right now, yeah, who's bringing it as well. So, Michael, for the guys out there that don't know you, tell us about what is Lear Analytical.
Yeah, well, we're a biosecurity company that targets harmful bacteria and eradicates it from the food chain. So I suppose, look, we're a science company, I suppose, first and foremost. We would have started up as a research division, and then we went into a manufacturing division as well. So we have our company based in Longford. And so I suppose our main goal is to target basically and eradicate kind of dangerous bacteria from the food chain supply.
Okay, now explain that in English to the likes of me. So does that mean that if I have fridges of meat or dairy products? Explain to me how it works.
So our customers are obviously heavily involved in the food sector. So it's kind of anyone who produces or processes food is a client of ours, or a potential client of ours. So we were here 5 years ago, I think, with an idea of what we wanted to do, and since then, so we create and manufacture, let's say, for example, a targeted disinfectant for a specific industry. Okay. So let's say, for example, the dairy industry. So we'd be targeting termogenic bacteria, and the reason that's an issue is because obviously with the focus on intensity of food production globally, there also brings huge pressures as well from bacteria points of view, and obviously what we're trying to do is to make sure that food chain stays safe. So we target the bacteria at source, eliminate it, and also one of the kind of key factors along with that is we eradicate the need for preventative antibiotics within the food production cycle, which is a huge game changer globally as well.
Brilliant. So how did obviously we're in the competition in the past with the idea. How did you turn an idea into a business? Because again, we all have brilliant ideas. I have a brilliant idea of how people can do their shopping in Lidl, and it can come to them. I've got these great ideas. Hopefully they haven't been taken, but I have these great ideas. But how do you turn an idea into reality?
Yeah, it's really funny. I was just talking to the guys out there as well that's part of this competition, and everyone's saying it's a competition, and we were just talking like it's a little bit, we don't really look at it really as a competition as well. I think it's a culmination of bringing everyone together that's creating jobs in Ireland, that's creating new processes, that's going out to target, let's say, a global audience. And I think that's the key thing as well that has to come out of this here today, I think, for me personally, because there's 24 young people there creating jobs, creating products here globally, and for the global markets, let's say. But to go back to the question, I don't know, I think it's, and you can ask Devin afterwards as well, I think you kind of want to start up your own business. It's either for you or it's not for you, and I think you have to embrace it as well. And we just had the local enterprise, I think, in just ahead of me as well, and I think they deserve incredible credit, and the guys here as well, that's all in the established business, will all say the same, we all beat the same drum. Starting a business is difficult. It is not easy. It is tough, and from a personal point of view as well, it's very, very hard. So I think it's the support network that comes around that is so important as well for young businesses, and for anyone thinking of starting a young business. I think it's embrace the support network. I think it's essential to getting you up and going, to get the company going as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the competition, you've been through it twice now, and you've ended up in the finals in Google 2 times. Pretty amazing. How's the journey been this time round? What have the highlights been?
Definitely embraced it a lot more this time. I suppose the last time we were only starting, like, so a lot of times we knew what we wanted to do. We weren't quite sure how we were going to do it, and we didn't really. I know we had a final product, but we still didn't really quite figure out. And I remember we had a little bit of traction at the time sales wise, but I would say the business has done a 360. It's been literally turning its head. As you go on further in business, I'd say within 2 or 3 years, you realise, number one, what you're selling, who you're selling it to, and how you're going to sell it. When you start up, you have no clue.
Yeah.
We were coming from a science background, going into a financial or business model. And to make that leap, it takes time, and it takes a lot of falling over before you actually realise, okay, this is actually what we can do, this is what we can't do, this is who our customer is, and this who isn't this who, is not our customer. I think that's probably the biggest learning curve that we've had over the last couple of years. And I suppose we definitely embraced it this time. We got involved with the media side of things, especially on local. But I think that comes with getting a little bit older as well.
Course,
do you know what I mean? You start to become more confident in not just yourself, but also the business as well.
Yeah. What you said is really interesting there, is because you came in with an idea, is the level of iteration and change that's required in a business to from concept to reality stage.
Yeah, and your business changes and it diversifies so much over them years, and it's, you understand kind of your own capabilities, who your market is, but it also gives you a razor sharp vision on where you're going and how you're going to get there as well.
Yeah, do you ever find there's resistance there? So I've created my business plan. I love my business. My business is very personal to me, and then it has to get changed, and I don't want to change it. Does that? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, how do we deal with that? We're kind of the ones making the change anyway, because we don't like. This is going to sound terrible, because we don't like our customers sometimes. No, but do you know what I mean? Sometimes you have to change how you're packaged. Sure. To suit the customer, as opposed to telling the customer what you want them to know, and sometimes it has to come a different angle, and it's even, let's say, to target that end user. And I think it's look, it is difficult, and I get what you're saying. Sometimes you can take things very personally. If someone comes in and says, look, it's not working, and it should work, and you think it should work, and it still hasn't, the results, the metrics aren't coming back right, and someone says, look, this has to be pulled, and you don't want it, because at the end of the day, it's you has developed a certain product for a certain market because you think there's a need. And look, I think the first 3 years, I would definitely say I took a lot of things personally. I took, where people might be challenging, I took it very personally. Now it's totally different. Now it's all, okay, this is part of our strategy. If it's not out, it has to go. So I think that's kind of very important. I think.
Brilliant. And you've nearly answered this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, is give me a piece of advice. So if I'm a young entrepreneur, business idea, looking to set up my business now, what advice would you give them?
Okay, what advice? I would definitely focus on what the customer wants, not what you want to sell them. I think that is, for I go back to our journey, for 3 years we basically shoved down the throat of the customer what we wanted them to be.
Sure. Not
necessarily what they wanted us to be, if you know what I mean. And at the end of the day, it comes down to financials. You have to sell the product. You can't just come up with a great product. You have to find out how you want to sell that product. And I think sometimes that might be overlooked, and realising what the actual customer wants out of basically you and your product, and what they expect of you. I think that is the key thing. I think we were probably, like I was saying, it took us about 3 years to actually realise that. But then, kind of, once you know that, it turns into kind of, this is part of your strategy now.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, great.
Fingers and toes crossed for you.
Yeah, appreciate
Best
it.
of luck, my friend.
Thanks.
Take care. See you, Michael. # Team Longford.
Way.
Go on, Longford. No, can't forget that, Michael. How you doing? Devon, how you doing?
How's things? How you keeping?
Good. Great. Congratulations, number one, in making it to the finals of Ireland's Best Young
Thank you
Entrepreneur.
very much. I am absolutely thrilled to be here.
And to be honest, your business excites me. It genuinely does. Really excites me. So the business is IBYE, if I pronounce that right.
Correct,
Let's not get off to a bad start here. But it's a super business, and again an example of simplicity working really, really well in a powerful way. So for anyone that doesn't know IBYE, take it away, Devon. Tell us what the business is.
So IBYE is an on-demand grocery e-commerce platform. And in plain English, what we do is we allow users to order grocery and household items from large retail partners like Lidl and Tesco, and have their items delivered store to door in as little as an hour by their very own personal shopper.
Wow. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So, it's unlike those days where, you're waiting for that van to arrive and so on. And
Yes, yeah.
So on. So what makes it different from the old Tesco delivery van when I'm doing my shopping through you guys?
So for the consumer, and there's a couple of stakeholders in our
Sure.
in our business, but for the consumer, who's obviously one of the most important, the big difference is that it's same day, and it's built around it's a customer centric experience in the sense that if you shop with traditional e-commerce, typically it's next day delivery, so it's 12 to 24 hours out into the future, whereas a lot of people in the vast majority of the market don't shop next day, they don't plan ahead. When it comes to grocery, people shop ad hoc. And they'll often find themselves, with an empty fridge and hungry belly.
Yeah.
So our focus was building an infrastructure and a supply chain that would allow for you to get what you need when you need it, delivered directly to your door within a 60-minute time frame of your choosing.
Which is just, it nearly seems bonkers. But someone explained your business, which maybe very wrongly, as kind of the Uber of shopping.
Yeah, it's not a million miles away. I'd
Okay.
say if you wanted to compare it, would be closer probably to the likes of Just Eat or Deliveroo
Yeah.
for
Okay.
groceries.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of users today are very comfortable with the idea of food apps, where they can go on, they can see multiple restaurants, they can choose one of those restaurants and have a hot meal delivered within an hour or so. And we essentially did the exact same thing, just for a different channel.
Okay, that's beautifully described. Much better than the Uber part. Damn you for giving me that one, whoever you were. As regards to the idea, how did the idea come about? So where did the concept
Where
come
all good ideas come about, in the pub.
Yeah, very true. I've solved the world.
We were. I had been working on a startup for a while, about 4 or 5 months. It wasn't really taking off, and I was kind of commiserating with a friend, and we were. I was fairly kind of emotionally committed to starting a business at this stage. This by me is my 5th company, so I've had 4.
Okay.
Spectacular little failures that have gotten me to here today.
Brilliant.
But I was kind of already emotionally committed to start something, and we started talking about all the pain points in our lives, and he was talking about how he used to rent a car to go down and do grocery shopping once a week. With his 2-year-old son, he didn't have a car, and then I thought about my own experience with online delivery, where I tried once to use it, but I went on just assuming I could get same day delivery. That was maybe that was my customer education around Deliveroo and Uber, just so used to getting things when I needed it. And then I spent an hour filling my basket, and then at the very end realised, I can only get this next day. This is totally outside of what I expected. And then those kind of two things connected, and I thought, this might be an interesting market to have a look at.
Wow, that's so again. And I think you're right. The pub was the ultimate social. It's the first ever social network, and it's where most ideas get turned. Absolutely. So phenomenal. So you must have some serious entrepreneur blood in those bones. You said 5 businesses. This is your 5th business. 5th business. So that's fantastic. It's like in the US, they say that sign of a really good entrepreneur is one that's got multiple failed businesses behind them because they've learned.
Apparently.
Yeah.
The
So
7, yeah.
there you go. So you're well above average.
Well, yeah.
If we take those terminologies. So do you think is entrepreneurship in your bones, and what do you think it takes?
Do you know,
to be?
I've kind of thought about this a lot with friends. I have friends who are all kind of starting businesses as well, and some of them are militant entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And I've never really been a militant entrepreneur. Like I love the idea of working for myself, but I've also really enjoyed being an employee, working for great companies, selling great products. As long as I'm passionate about the industry and the company, being a founder or CEO or an employee makes no difference. It's a different journey, and they're both great, but in different ways. So I'll never say never. But right now I'm really enjoying. I feel like this time in my life I'm really enjoying doing something on my own. I love being out, kind of making my own calendar, out of the office, just meeting people. It's probably the best part of the job.
Yeah, well, you seem like you light up when you talk about your business, which is a good sign,
Yes.
to say the very, very least.
Yeah.
How's the Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur competition been for you, and what have the highlights been?
It's been such a great journey, if I'm honest. And I think the thing I've enjoyed the most is just being kind of immersed with people of a similar nature, high energy, very enthusiastic, really optimistic about all the different industries that they're in, lots of passion. And not just the finalists, but everyone who I've met kind of along the journey, because I think obviously there's loads of contestants over the course of the competition, and I got to go down and spend an overnight down doing a workshop in the, I think it was Dunboyne Hotel, and you just get to be surrounded by these people and their excitement and enthusiasm for creativity is infectious, and you get a real buzz off it. So I think the people has probably been the biggest highlight for me, really.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I always say, like, I mean, that's the weird thing. Every year in Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur, it's amazing how many of the entrepreneurs stay in contact.
Yes, we have a little WhatsApp group and all now.
Absolutely.
So we'll be probably going out for a few beers hopefully later on.
Oh, I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. Don't lose any awards or anything. You're representing Dublin, yeah?
Yes.
So Dublin City. So hashtag Team Dublin. And
Dubs.
It's going for the double now. Going for the double. How's their support been? How's the local?
It's been incredible. Like, I mean, the Leos have been just an incredible support network. And to be honest, we've come through Enterprise Ireland and the Leo network from the very beginning. I got a feasibility grant from our local enterprise office to start the business. I went into the competitive start fund program with Enterprise Ireland. I got a €50,000 grant before we had any customers or any revenue. Not a grant, sorry, an investment. And then that helped me raise another 75,000, which gave me 100,000. I quit my job and went full time as our very first grocery delivery person. And then spent 2 years delivering, and always been able to go in and sit down with the Leo and sit down with the guys in the Enterprise Ireland to really get some advice. And then in 2018, Enterprise Ireland gave us $250,000 as part of our series, our seed round, and that helped us, really kind of take the business to the next level. So I feel like I've kind of gone through the whole kind of gambit with all the different support systems. So it's been truly great, because I feel like I've got a great understanding now of kind of the landscape and I often direct a lot of people that I meet on that similar journey, because it's been so impactful for us.
Well, the amount of support that's there that I was oblivious to be honest with you. So
yeah, it's really great if you know where to look, and that's the real thing. And I think the biggest challenge with starting a business is the road to success is very winding and it has very little signage. And the only way you're going to get where you're going is if you ask people for directions. And so I've kind of taken that to heart over the years, and Enterprise Ireland and Leo are a great place to ask for directions, because their network is just so incredible, and if they don't know the answer, they absolutely know someone who does.
No, I think ask for directions. There's the quote of the day so far. It's the one thing that no male driver driving lost down the country has ever done. But ask for directions. Fantastic. Best of luck in the finals.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Cheers, mate. Take care.
No worries.
See you. Fantastic. So that was Team Dublin. Hashtag Team Dublin. So bye-bye Team Dublin. Now who we are? Pauline. Oh, Pauline. Of course.
How are you?
I'm absolutely grand. So we have a Carlo finalist today.
We have a Carlo finalist in David Bromberg of Entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
We're very proud and very excited what the next couple of hours has to hold. And but as I've said to David throughout the journey, it is, as what your previous guest just said, it is all about the journey, the experience, the learning, the peer support, the networking, and the supports that the Leos can give to each of the finalists, both before IBYE, through IBYE, from the application process through the boot camp, and then afterwards in terms of be it our Measure 1 financial supports or through our softer supports through mentoring or training or whatever else it might be. So I suppose it's about engaging with those young entrepreneurs and hoping that they will continue to engage with the Leos and then further afield, be it with Enterprise Ireland or those going forward. So
and I think that's what people forget, is that the support that you guys give young businesses and established businesses, but and the guidance that you give them to move them from a local enterprise office client to a Enterprise Ireland client is fantastic. And without that step, I think businesses are completely lost.
Yeah, and I suppose that very much is our remit. We're the first stop shop, and it's wonderful to see young entrepreneurs taking that risk, that first step, and I suppose it's very gratifying for us to be able to guide them along that journey where possible, and then see them establish their businesses and start to create employment and generate revenue and economic impacts within our local areas, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, the guys today, and maybe not all at the moment, but fast forward a year, they'll all availed of priming grants, feasibility study grants. exhibition, which is what's it called, your TAME grant?
Yeah,
Is
so
it
the
called-
TAME grant is it's technical assistance for micro exporters. So it's a grant that's there to help people explore new opportunities abroad. So it gives them the opportunity maybe to attend a trade event abroad, be it in the UK, in mainland Europe, or in the US, or further afield. And it allows them to, for example, translate their website or their brochures or their information material, into that language or into a couple of different languages. It supports them in terms of getting there, in terms of attendance. So it's a great grant that I suppose we're trying to create more awareness of, especially in the times that we're in terms of Brexit and all the rest. But there's so much support even outside of financial supports, and that's something I always say to clients, is that the mentoring supports that are there, the training programs. For example, we're heading to the Netherlands now in November on a brokerage mission with 10 clients from Carlo. So there's loads going on. So it's all about staying engaged, keeping in contact with us, and if you come along a bump in the road, pick up the phone, come in and see us, and we will certainly do our best to guide you over it or through it or around it or whatever it may be.
Yeah, no, business in Carlo is thriving.
It is, and we have the ploughing now this week.
Yeah.
So, hashtag ploughing 19 and hashtag in Carlo are our two big hashtags. We have the local enterprise village, which is showcasing over 30 businesses from all around Ireland, local enterprise clients, and then we have our own in Carlo pavilion, which is supporting I suppose a good plethora of Carlo businesses in terms of getting the exposure there as well. Yeah.
So if you're going to the ploughing, local enterprise office, village, there's not even a tent like it may have been in the past.
No,
it's a village.
It's a village.
Check out the village.
Yeah.
Best of luck for hashtag Team Carlo in the final couple of hours. Tell me about the finalist. He's quite some business he has.
Yeah, so David's business is a really interesting one, and I suppose David has been on the IBYE journey before in terms of he came with another idea, and then himself and his business partner Michael went away and they saw this opportunity in terms of EquiReal. So they provide videography analysis of equestrian events, not just in Ireland but all over the UK, and they're beginning to make inroads into France and other places around the world as well. And that analytical piece that they can do and that information that they can provide can help those competing in those competitions to, I suppose, increase their performance. So there's a win-win on both sides, and obviously they're prepared then to pay for that service. So it was I suppose it was his experience of his interests and his hobbies mixed with his entrepreneurial desire, and they've seen the opportunity and it's going really well for them, and we're delighted to be able to support them in the Leo and Carlo.
And I think that's what you notice when you the passion.
Yes.
With so many of these guys today, it's the passion.
Yeah.
If you're passionate about what you're doing and you have a clever entrepreneurial business mind, and you're prepared to seize upon the supports that are available to you and ask for help when you need it, and not be too precious that if someone says you should change it this way, to actually take that on board. You can be very successful.
Agree, and I have to say, David, that's the thing about David. He's open to all the supports and suggestions that we make, and that's half the battle. I
think everyone today has iterated their business somewhat throughout this process, which is amazing.
Yes.
So incredible stuff. So good luck to hashtag Team Carlo a little bit later, and if you're a young entrepreneur and you're not in Carlo, it doesn't matter. Contact your local enterprise office. That's your first call. So do it.
Great.
Pauline,
Thank
lovely
you so
chatting to you.
much. Lovely
Take care.
talking to you.
So we have another guest waiting to come in.
Hi, Greg.
Hi, Mark. How
Mark
you doing?
Christoph from Enterprise Ireland.
From fantastic Enterprise Ireland. There we go. So the second step on your entrepreneurial journey. Trying to remember who I was talking to, but Enterprise Ireland has so many amazing programs for young entrepreneurs. Obviously, we have things like the competitive startup fund, but we also have programs like the New Frontiers programs. Tell me about some of the supports that Enterprise Ireland offers.
Yeah, well, you mentioned two of them there, Greg, the New Frontiers program and the Competitive Start Fund, and there are a number of financial supports available, but I think it's also it's a good opportunity on a day like this to kind of remind all entrepreneurs around the country about some of the softer supports that are available as well. So, for example, one of the areas that we're very keen to focus on is that entrepreneurs get the appropriate market research advice, so that they kind of know, well, they understand their market, they understand the product market fit that their product or service is aiming for, and our market research centre, which is available both in Dublin, where our main research centre is, but in all our offices all around the country, is open to entrepreneurs, and something that we really encourage people to take the opportunity, drop into the Enterprise Ireland office, use the research centre to really understand about the market you're trying to compete with, what your competitors are doing, what's the size of the opportunity. It's a really, really important step for any entrepreneur trying to grow and start up a business.
It sounds like an absolute no-brainer to try to go after that. In fact, talking to the entrepreneurs today, that's the one thing that they said helped them the most, was boot camps, teasing out their business, making iterations, exploring new possibilities, and to having that support to do that.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Like I think again, any entrepreneur who goes through a journey, like as you say, like their business will pivot. It's very, very normal. But the advice is critical that they pick up along the way. And whether it's from executives in the local enterprise offices or through our own team of people who work around the country, or whether it's from the peers of people that they work with, or other mentors that they pick up along the way, or other people who've just gone down the journey. And I think what we find is people are really willing to give their advice and really willing to give their time. And again, we'd encourage all people who if you think you have an idea, you want to start a business, get the supports, drop into your local enterprise office. They'll put you in touch with these kind of mentors. They'll put you in touch with people who've done it previously and help to steer you on your journey.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I was starting up my business and even thinking of expanding into foreign fields, now this is my fault here, but I never even thought of Enterprise Ireland. At what stage should an entrepreneur, I know it's a very broad question, but what stage should an entrepreneur check out or contact or make some communication with Enterprise Ireland?
And again, like from the way we're structured between ourselves and the local enterprise offices is really, as you said, it's to try and provide the right support to companies at the right time of their business. And sometimes, and we see it occasionally, where companies go too early into an international market, and that's not really recommended or to be advised either. So it's very much as you point out in your question about timing and getting that timing right. And again, there's a seamless service provided by the LEOs and Enterprise Ireland. We have 39 offices overseas where we've a very strong footprint in global markets right the way around the world. And when the right time is for a business to be supported, in terms of when it has the resources, it has the structure, and it has the bandwidth. Because one of the key issues we see, and what we want to avoid, is companies going too early into the market. They don't have the resources, they don't have the structure, and it's actually putting more of a strain on the business. So I think again that point will be very much, it is case by case. It depends on the business, it depends on the sector, and it depends on the market that the company is trying to tackle. Will be discussed in depth with the local enterprise advisor or else our own advisor.
So really, your first step logically is, again, we've been saying it all day, is to contact your local enterprise office, talk to them, and they will advise you.
Absolutely.
Of it would be you'd be perfect for the New Frontiers program. Here's a contact, and move us along.
Absolutely.
Just while I mentioned the New Frontiers program, can you tell me what is the New Frontiers program?
New Frontiers program is for entrepreneurs. Again, it's very much we look at it through very much a regional lens. So it's very much about like supporting entrepreneurs in every county in Ireland. So if you're an entrepreneur, you have an idea. The idea of New Frontiers is that you go in. We work in. It's run in collaboration with the Institutes of Technology. So it should be run in your region or hopefully relatively close to you. And the idea is that it's a program whereby you get structured advice, and you go through a series of if you like masterclasses and tutorials on the setting up the business and what are the key steps to be taken. From there, then you get the opportunity, having got that support, to decide if there's something in your business and it's going to go on to the next phase of support. So we break the New Frontiers program into two phases, phase 1 and phase 2. And again, it's a very important vehicle for companies then who to progress into the local enterprise office or into Enterprise Ireland from there. So again, it's a program we've been running for a large number of years, and it's been a very successful program in terms of supporting entrepreneurs who want to establish a business.
Brilliant. And Enterprise Ireland have been a massive supporter of the Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur competition over the 5 years. So we've been doing it now. I suppose how is Enterprise Ireland and the competition's synergies work? So how?
Yeah, and it's a real it's kind of one of the kind of standout dates in our diary of events every year. Like, it's something that we're very proud to be associated with. We, as you said, we've been 5 years now. We've been working with Google and the local enterprise offices, and something we're really proud about. Again, primarily because it's we recognise the importance of supporting entrepreneurship and really encouraging entrepreneurship around the country. And that's, I suppose, entrepreneurship in its broadest sense, but also then the companies who will go on and become our high potential startups of the future, and companies that will, you know, scale and will succeed in international markets. But our objective is also, as I said, is to support local businesses, local enterprises that set up, that are really important, a very important part of the economy, and we recognise that. So IBYE is a perfect showcase to really achieve that objective.
Yeah, and I think over the 4 years, most participants have actually availed of EI support at some level, be it soft or funding. So fantastic. Mark, I'm going to let you enjoy the ceremony.
Great.
Thanks so much.
Great.
Lovely chatting to you. Take care. So guys, that's it. We're just about at final time. We're nearly there. Fancy brochure for the day. Who is going to win Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur the 5th year? Who's going to win in 2019? So when it comes to the best new business idea category, there's the guys. That's who we've got. So we've got Owen Mulcahy, Deep Seek from Limerick. Will he win the best new idea category? We have John Duggan from Lonit. We spoke to him last Thursday on our Facebook page. Hashtag Team Kilkenny. Will it be Martin O'Reilly from Output Sports, representing Rathdown Dunleary? Can Rathdown Dunleary get the hat-trick? They've won the last 2 times. Can they win 3 in a row? He's in the final for best new idea as well. There's Conor Curley from Setanta Nutrition Science, representing Louth. Hashtag Louth. Is he Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur? We have Damien Kilgannon from Sula Health, representing Sligo. We talked to him a little bit earlier. Is he Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur? He's going to help me sleep, that guy is. Diane Cooper from True Fitness, representing Laois. Also in the idea category, is Diane going to be Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur? We have Elizabeth McLaughlin from Timpany Medical, representing Galway. Is she Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur? Or is it Darren Lucy, the gentleman who likes some fairly slick suits, and he's wearing another great suit today, representing Cork with his business idea Uni? When it comes to the best startup business category, is it Ross Lawless? We talked to him earlier on, from Calts Dynamics, representing Wicklow. Is he Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur? We'll find out in a little bit. We have Pierce Dargan from Equine MediRecord. We spoke to him earlier on. In fact, initially we saw him without a head. So we did. Representing Kildare, is he going to be Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur? We have Orla Stafford from Ismu, from Louth. Will she be Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur? Or Kieran Brennan, who we also talked to from hashtag Team Dublin, representing the local enterprise office in Fingal, livecosts.com. Could it be him? Could he be Ireland's best young entrepreneur? Or could it be Sharon Cunningham from Shorla Pharma, representing TIP? Hashtag Tipperary. Is she Ireland's best young entrepreneur? Then there's Brendan Maloney from Skillco, representing Mayo. We spoke to him on Thursday. Is he Ireland's best young entrepreneur? And then there's Wendy Oakey from TeachCloud. We spoke to earlier on, representing Cork. Will she be Ireland's best young entrepreneur? We're literally moments away from the ceremony now. The best established business category, we have Cathal Burke from Burke Sports, representing TIP. Could he be Ireland's best young entrepreneur? Or Devon Hughes, we had a great chat with him there. It's the Deliveroo of shopping. It's By Me, representing Team Dublin. Conor Walsh from Encon, representing Team Waterford. Do you remember how nervous he was on pitching day last Thursday? Brilliant idea, or brilliant business that he's got going on there, representing Waterford. Hashtag Waterford. Is he Ireland's best young entrepreneur? We have David Bromberg from Equireal, representing Team Carlow. Is he going to be Ireland's best young entrepreneur? There's Emma Rose Conroy, another lady who was in the competition before and did brilliantly. She's back. Will she take the mantle of Ireland's best young entrepreneur for her business Euro Stallions Ireland Limited, representing Team Offaly? We have Michael Savage, creating jobs in Longford and doing an amazing job with his brilliant business Lear Analytical. Hashtag Team Longford. Is this year Michael Savage's year? We have Caroline Thompson from Riverside Spa in Cavan. Hashtag Team Cavan. Is she going to be Ireland's best young entrepreneur for 2019? Or could it be Sean McGarry? Sean McGarry of Showergen. You've heard the name before, I hear you say. Yes, he's the guy that got 3 dragons, investing in him in the Dragon's Den, about 2 weeks ago in the UK. So, Sean the Dragon McGarry, representing Team Mayo. Is he Ireland's best young entrepreneur? Come back in a little bit later. We'll be online probably around 2:30, where we will tell you who is Ireland's best young entrepreneur. So from me, Greg Fry, we'll see you a little bit later. Take care. Bye-bye. Now this is the awkward bit where I fail to try to turn things off.